Do you try to look for placements for your music and beats? No, I don't look for placements. I never have. I did maybe like twice, and it did not work.
Question is, will I ever leave you? And the answer is no, 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 no.
Okay, so Nicholas Machado wants to know, when are you going to release your album? Now this question, I can't really give a definitive answer. I can say that it's going to be out this year. The first one, there's basically two parts to this album. I'm going to split it up into two. And, excuse me, hold on. So I'm going to split it up into two different parts. It's going to be an epilogue and a prologue. The epilogue is coming first because it's the ending of the previous chapter of my life with my exes, all that stuff that I went through in the past. And then the prologue is going to be like me starting anew, starting something fresh. But so it's going to be two parts, and I think it's going to be like 6 songs on the first one, 7 songs on the second one. I actually have dates on here. You guys know I've been studying a lot about the planets and about astrology and how that stuff like correlates with us and our lives. I've just been looking into it, and the date for the epilogue, this is tentative. This is not like set in stone, but I wanted to release the epilogue, the first part, on September 12th, because this is when Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, it comes in sextile with Pluto, which is the planet of death and rebirth. And this is like supposed to represent a time that offers us a chance for deep and profound permanent transformation, a call to action about living your truth and being increasingly authentic. I'm very big on releasing projects on important days or important dates. I love everything to have meaning. I like for everything to have some type of meaning. So I want to try and make the September 12th date, but I can't promise that. But we'll see how it goes within the next few weeks. I gotta take my time and make sure this everything is perfect before I announce any like release date. So Ruben Herrera, he's asking, what inspired you to create music? And I'm also gonna kind of tie this in with Faith's question, my best friend Faith. What was the best part about your childhood and why? The best part about my childhood is actually the reason why I was inspired to create music. And that is when I discovered Michael Jackson. When I first discovered who Michael Jackson was, I don't remember an exact day. I don't remember an exact like experience, how it was and all that stuff. I just remember watching the Moonwalker. It was a Moonwalker VHS tape over and over and over again at my grandma's house. And I just fell in love with who he was as a performer. I fell in love with his music. I fell in love with the change he was causing in people. Like, you would see these big, humongous crowds crying and having their lives changed and being affected by positive music and not stuff that was just talking about drugs and women and cars and material things. It was like actual heartfelt music. And there were millions of people around the world, not just in the United States, but in the entire world, who knew who this man was and would flock to his shows. And I knew that once I saw that, that's the kind of effect that I wanted to have on the world. I didn't want to just like be some Joe Blow working at, McDonald's or folding t-shirts at Old Navy or writing some stuff at a desk. Like, I knew that I had to have that kind of profound effect on people's lives. And me being from a musical family, I knew that it had to do with music. So I wanted to be a performer. Michael Jackson, me discovering Michael Jackson was the best part of my childhood, because that's what inspired me to become a musician, to create my own music. And then once I was rooted and grounded in that, I also discovered Toney at the time, Kanye West. Like, those two artists are people who also inspired me to want to be a producer and an artist, like overall, not just a performer. But just all three of them are the reason why I started to do music. And I just knew that I wanted that kind of effect on people. And I'm still after that, man. And I believe I'm going to reach it. So I don't know, but yeah, that's my favorite part of childhood, and that's what inspired me to create music. So the next question is by Jacob Glass. He's asking, what DAW did you start with when you first started making music? And for those of you who don't know, a DAW is a digital audio workstation. It's basically just a music production program. So the DAW that I started using when I first started making music was Fruity Loops. Now it's known as FL Studio. Yeah, it was back when it first came out, like 98. 99 or something like that, 97. I started off on just a regular basic computer. I didn't have a keyboard, I didn't have a drum machine, I didn't have any sounds. I basically sampled all of my own sounds. I would take like little kicks from a Michael Jackson song and take a snare from, I don't know, a Kanye West song, and I would like make my own drum kits and all that stuff. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I actually still have all these kits to this day. I had nothing. I would play the keyboard on my actual like keyboard with the keys on the computer. I did that for like 12, 13 years until finally like I got a job. I graduated high school. I was able to save money. I was selling stuff on Craigslist, and I built up all this stuff that I have now. I have a keyboard, I have a machine. I switched over to the machine program from FL Studio because I have a Mac, and I bought all the stuff that I have now. So yeah, I started off on Fruity Loops. Now I'm using a machine. And the last question for today is, or it's actually two parts to this. This is One Shot Mac asking from YouTube. He's saying, do you try to look for placements for your music and beats? And I'd also like to know your process for vlogging. My life isn't nearly as exciting as yours. So first about the placements thing. No, I don't look for placements. I never have. I did maybe like twice, and it did not work. I don't even know where to look, honestly. And I know that's kind of bad as an artist and a producer who's supposed to be trying to like further his career, but I honestly don't know where to look. Like, everything is about having connections. When I would try to look, it would be like Twitter. It would be some artist that tweets, oh, we need beats, send beats to beatsformacmiller@gmail.com, and I would like send beats to Ryan Leslie when he had the Black Phoenix Beat Club, and nobody ever like paid attention. Like I kind of got close with Ryan Leslie. They liked a few of my beats, but they never used it. And then another time I posted a song and a beat that I produced for Janelle Monáe to use on one of her albums, the Arcandroid. I posted up on my YouTube, and they actually discovered the song. They loved the song. They cried. It was more so like they appreciated what I created, and it wasn't like, oh, we want to put this on our album. I was hoping it would be, but it didn't work out that way. But I'm still grateful for what happened with that. But I actually have gotten placements with my music and my beats, but it was all from people coming to me. It was never me searching for anything. So that kind of goes with this whole idea that I have. A lot of people say when you just are creating, you're in your zone, you're just putting yourself out there, you're posting your music, you're posting, you know, your work and all that stuff, people will gravitate towards you. People will find you somehow. That is true. That is very, very true, because before I had my YouTube channel, you know, I would post on MySpace, but nothing was really happening, you know. But once I got the YouTube channel up and popping, and I had a lot of traffic coming there, I would find that I was getting emails, I was getting tweets, I was getting texts, I was getting all kinds of people that would come to me. I got a Lucas Reiger, who was basically the Justin Bieber of Germany, and he was on The Voice in Germany, and I was supposed to produce his entire debut album. We actually signed the contract and everything, but that fell through. I'm gonna make a video about that because people owe me money over there. Anyway, yeah, but that's from them coming to me. And then there was another scenario where back in the day, Tone, he came to me to produce something for his Bapastogic album. I did that, and he put it on the album. That was my first ever placement that I ever got. Grammy award-winning gospel artist, and he's over here working with Snoop Dogg and Chris Brown and Janet Jackson and Gladys Knight and all these. Like, people will come to you when you put yourself out there. If your stuff is good enough, they'll find you somehow. It may seem like, you know, you're out of control, like you don't have control of the situation, or you feel like you should be doing more, or you should be chasing somebody down. But I've learned, at least in my life, for myself, to just let life come to you, let life happen, let the opportunities come. Like, if you continue to stay motivated, to stay inspired, to constantly create, to constantly post your stuff out there, somebody somewhere is going to find you. There are some services that you can use to license yourself. Like, there's PROs, performing rights organizations like CSAC, ASCAP, that'll send your stuff out to be like licensed and synced into like movies and get placements in TV shows and stuff like that, which is really dope. There's Rumblefish that also does this, I believe. But then on the flip side, like, just posting your stuff out there and waiting for the opportunity to come to you is also really incredible. If you got it, you got it. As far as vlogging, my life is not that interesting. 85% of the time, I'm driving, delivering food to people's house. The other 10%, I'm at home, I'm making music, and then 5% I'm sleeping. So vlogging is as exciting as you choose to make it. It depends on your editing abilities. Like, you don't have to necessarily have a super interesting life to vlog. I definitely don't have a super interesting life. I only have interesting moments. I mean, my life is pretty interesting, but it's because I am kind of spontaneous in what I do, and then I also have a lot of opportunities that present themselves to me. I also have a lot of interesting friends that do a lot of events. I go out places. I try to find something to do in my days if it's going to be boring, and then I vlog about it. So really, like, I just hang out with my friends. I might go to an event. I might go to an open mic or a concert or something like that, and I'll do something and I'll film for 5 hours of that day, and like 4 hours of it will be completely boring and there's no content whatsoever. But like 5 minutes of that 5 hours that I filmed, there'll be like 5 minutes of solid footage that I can use. So it's really about you finding a story within whatever you're filming and then putting that together in like a little 5 to 10 minute video. I once had like one of the most boring vlogs, one of the most boring days last year in Poland when I went traveling. I went there in April. Yeah, it was Easter. Everything was closed. There was nothing to do. The stores were closed. I couldn't go out anywhere. There were no people outside, no clubs were open, nothing. So I had to find a way to make this day interesting. And what I did was I basically vlogged about how there's nothing to do. I vlogged about how there's no food for me to eat because even the grocery stores were closing. And I was, you know, making coffee for myself, and I found a way to like shoot these interesting shots and like slow motions of me pouring coffee. It's just, you gotta make stuff interesting. Like, if you really want to vlog, if you really want to be a vlogger, it just all depends on your outlook on things. You have to know how to be creative with what you're given. It also helps if you have really interesting friends, because you guys could be sitting in your house all day, but interesting people will make anything interesting. And if you're interesting yourself, you can make it interesting. It's about how you present it. It's about how you shoot it and how you edit it, really. Because my life is really not that interesting, but I make it seem interesting. And sometimes it truly is, but sometimes I have to edit, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff in there to make it seem like it's, you know what I mean? But yeah, just study up on like some Casey Neistat, some Peter McKinnon. Like, there's some videos that they have. If you really think about it, they're not doing anything in their day. They just find a way to make it look super creative. There's a lot more questions, quite a lot more. So this is actually going to continue next week. I thank you guys all for leaving your questions. I hope this was kind of interesting. I hope maybe I edit this. It's getting hot in here. I really want to turn this AC on because I'm melting, and I'm wearing a hoodie because I want to look cool. Yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for submitting your questions. I really appreciate you guys. I love you. If you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications if you don't already have notifications turned on, because YouTube is bougie like that and they don't want to notify my subscribers of when I release my videos. I hate closing out videos. I never know how to close them out. I never know what to say. Buy that merch. Buy that merch. Buy, okay. Thank you guys. Be legendary.